In the relation to the catchphrases thing, I don't really have a catchphrase. I just have a whole bunch of jokes that I siphon through. Some of you would have heard them before. I strip to make ends meet. Try and make the light at the end of the tunnel a little brighter, put a dimmer on it, things like that. But look, I started an electrical apprenticeship when I was in school. I actually started a school-based apprenticeship. I worked for Riviera Marine at Coomera, and because I liked boats and I happened to be good with electrical, I found that out by putting a car stereo in my first ever car. And told my mates it was easy, they couldn't do it. Turns out I know how to read a schematic drawing. You just follow the lines. I don't understand what's difficult about it, but maybe just my mates. I've done it all my life. And then in 2020, I started my own company. So 2020 was a big year. I had a trip to Japan. I started 2 businesses, the electrical being one of them. I got COVID, got married, sold my house, and moved to the Gold Coast. It was a stressful year. It was the first time the greys started appearing in the beard, and I think that might have had something to do with it. So I started a school-based apprenticeship in 2004. I was ready for qualification 3 years later to finish early, but I went through group training and they refused to sign anyone off 3 years early. It was lucky it worked out that way. I was big into motorbikes at the time. Had an accident halfway through my 3rd year, smashed my rotator cuff, destroyed cartilage, couldn't do anything. I spent 6 months on doing puck all and finished my apprenticeship. But then I finished it in 2008 when the financial crisis hit, and then sort of bounced around after that for a while because the industry was in shambles and we couldn't do anything. In 2010 I became a master electrician. Back then you had to have qualifications to gain that title. Now you can just join a mob and pay for it and you get to call yourself a master electrician. So they used it as branding instead. That's to my website if you're interested in having a look, and this is an interactive game. So there's another prize on the table today. If anyone can get to level 10 before the end of the meeting, there's a free coffee for you. It's dead easy, right? But it's an electrical game. Right?
I've got my phone.
So it's basically as simple as like drag a light in, drag a switch in, connect the circuit in a little square and click the switch to turn the light on. And I just gave you level 1. So it's a little bit of a thing I use for apprentices when we bring them in. It's a bit of a fault finding exercise because it makes you think without being able to see. It'll show you a switch and a light at the top of the box and you've got to guess what's happening inside and draw the circuit. So if you get to level 10, first person, yeah, free coffee.
Should I go on
Yeah,
there?
no, we
Yeah,
can't.
hell yeah.
Exactly. On screen, yeah?
No one paid to your attention now. Everyone paid it.
Exactly. That's what I got. Mate, I made it easy for you. Instead of just glossing over and not having anything to do, I've just given you something to do.
Yes, I have a go at that now, yeah?
Have a go at that. Yeah, go for it.
I'm not really interested in games.
That's fine. Hopefully this is entertaining for you. It's one or the other, right?
Kelly, stop screwing up your face trying to do it. It must be really hard for her. You should have seen her face then.
I think I need glasses. I'm like.
I'll give you level 1. On the right hand side you've got the light and a switch. So drag the light over into the circuit, drag the switch over, and then you just draw the lines between to complete the circuit. Oh, you drag the battery over as well.
Actually not that bad.
I also saw you pull your phone out first. I was like, at least someone's going to do it. He's in for a coffee. All right. So this is my family. I've got my dad, my mum, my wife, and my sister and brother-in-law. I don't have any kids, but that's my little goddaughter. And we were able to do the christening in the same time we got married, all in 2020, so that was fun. This is our trip to Japan. This is my main hobby. I'm a competitive shooter at an international level. So the top 3 are NRL 22, which we use a 22 rifle. We shoot all the way out to 400 yards with that. IPSC is the handgun stuff, and that was in 2022 when I placed first in Australia.
Woohoo!
These two are actually from the US, where we went over and competed and finished in the top 25% at the finale. So that's a good bit of fun, and I fly to Melbourne next week for the Australian finale for this year. So keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble. Oh, apparently that's a video. Okay, cool. This will give you an idea of like some of the what we do. This is a single target engagement, and as we increase our distance, the distance to the target changes. So the elevation and drop and all that sort of stuff changes, and you've got windage and a whole bunch of stuff to figure out, and you have to do it all inside a time limit. So bit of
What's behind the 22 pushing it out? So you're not using little 22 bullets, you
Yep.
got 400 metres.
Yep.
That's it, little 22.
Yep.
22 Magnum,
No,
not a 22370?
no,
behind the
just a
Magnum?
22 long range.
That's it?
Yep.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah. So at 350 yards, we have 8 meters of drop. So if you imagine a normal pine tree, they're about 8 meters high. You would essentially have to aim at the top to hit the bottom.
And they're not too loud, you don't have ears.
No, they're actually really quiet. Yeah, we don't usually wear ear protection for the 22s, unless someone has a muzzle brake, and that makes it a bit louder, but yeah. So we do a fair bit of traveling because we don't have kids. So my wife and I do a fair bit: Croatia, Amsterdam, Dubai. You may have seen my truck. I work and camp out of it, and that lets us go to places like Fraser Island. That's Lake Mackenzie in the middle of Fraser Island, largest freshwater naturally occurring lake on a sand island. This is some of our work. This was the Good Life gym in Ashmore up in Brisbane. It started as a 1-level gym upstairs, and they did this big cutout in the floor and made it into a 2-level gym. That's what we call sparky porn. Because it's neat and it looks good. And I spent about 3 days in that little thing to make all that happen, and that runs the whole gym. So a little bit of what we do. On the Gold Coast, we've done the Nespresso store at Robina, coach at Pack Fair, and that's the Girl Lane actually in the Brisbane airport. So next time you're travelling through there. This is one of our bigger ones recently, the Boss at Pack Fair. We did all the electrical apart from supplying the lights. So all of the LEDs in there, all the power, everything. And this is sort of like the stuff I really love to do because they take the time to make it look really pretty. And pretty must mean we're good at our job, as opposed to just putting PowerPoints in that don't look, they just look like PowerPoints. So it's nice to have something that actually lights up and creates that feeling when you walk into a place. Bit more sparky porn. I did a pool recently for one of my builders, and convinced him to go a bit out on the lighting. This might be a video. No, it's not a video. But it's actually up in the top right. It's all a soft start and slow driver. So when he turns it on, it just brings a glow up into the pool, and it's all on a dimmer and everything. It's kind of cool. Bit more shop fit out stuff. That was Oscar Wiley store. I've done a few of those in Queensland now, and I somehow made it onto Channel 9 one day when I was doing some work down at a place on the Gold Coast, which is kind of cool to put a bit more light into the. That wasn't pun intended, but I catch myself sometimes. I do it too often. And then these are some of the wildlife we come across. This is me teaching a cat to pull a wire out of the wall and then teaching it how to fit off a mech. This is actually Tracy's cat. I recognise that cat. Great apprentice, didn't talk back. Cat 5, yeah, it is Cat 5. Good pickup. This one was actually, I got into a roof, and me and a bat that lived in the roof both got very surprised. The bat made it out first. And then just as I got in the roof, I heard a commotion. I came back down, there was a snake in the garage. So after chasing a bat out the roof, we herded a snake out of the garage, and then the snake found the bat. This is a little spotted pigeon, apparently. Found that one in a roof. So brought him out, and I don't know how he got in there. Still haven't figured that one out. My time's up. Right, fair enough. Nice kookaburra watching me do a switchboard fit off. Anyone get to level 10?
No, you're too engaging.
Oh. So there you go. It was me worried I wouldn't be saying.
Looking for you out of your duck.
Any questions?
You do resi?
I do resi. So we've had a little bit of an influx in emergency call-outs in the last week and a half, as you can imagine. Once everyone's power came back on, all the old appliances started to die, and water seepage has gotten into places it shouldn't and caused issues there. So we've been doing a fair bit of fault finding in the last 2 weeks for resi, which is good. But yeah, we get a little bit of work from that. So.
Oh, you went to Chez's place on
I did.
the Oracle at
I
second.
did.
And I tell you
Oh,
what,
the
he was there
poor
in
thing.
a heartbeat. It was
I feel so sorry for her. So Chez is a
real estate
she's a
agent.
real estate agent.
Yeah.
She did an open home in this like level 37 beautiful apartment on one of the brand new buildings, and she called me up and she goes, "I've done an open home 2 days ago. I swear I checked all the doors. Apparently one of the bedroom doors wasn't locked. The cyclone had apparently opened the doors somehow, come in sideways, soaked the roof of this bedroom, and it just crashed down." So there
I
was
know,
just-
she said the wind took it over. I bet she left it open there.
Oh.
She's not here today, so
I can only repeat her thing.
I want to tell you